And joining us now is former U.S. Ambassador to Ukraine, William Taylor. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, Lindsay. Good to be here.
As you know, cities in Ukraine are under siege as we speak. We are seeing the attacks from Russia skew more and more to target civilians. We know that Putin wants regime change. If you were still ambassador, with the fate of Kyiv concerning to so many around the world, how would you advise Zelensky at this point?
Lindsay, President Zelensky has really stepped up. He has had his own counsel. He's listened to his own conscience. He's listened to his own determination. Yes, he's gotten a lot of support from the United States, and if I were ambassador there, I would be expressing that support. He's decided that he's not going to leave. He's been getting some suggestions from friendly nations that he may want to get. He doesn't want to leave the country. He doesn't want to leave the city. He wants to lead his nation from Kyiv, from the capital, and he's rallied the nation behind him. So the advice that I have for him is would not be necessary. He has decided how he's going to lead this, and he is doing it.
And Ukrainian President Zelensky has called what Russia is doing war crimes. Ukrainian and Russian officials, of course, met this week in the first glimpse of potential talks to try to end this crisis. But do you think that Russians are actually engaging with them in good faith?
I don't think so, Lindsay, not yet. We can hope that they will. You know, there were these negotiations yesterday that the Ukrainians sent a serious delegation up to the border between Ukraine and Belarus, where these negotiations would take place. The Ukrainian delegation, led by the defense minister, an excellent defense minister, and a trusted senior member of President Zelensky's political party, they were there. And they were ready to negotiate a ceasefire. That's what needs to happen. The Russians, however, in answer to your question, did not appear serious. They had the same demands that President Putin has been asking. Essentially, disarm Ukraine, never join NATO. NATO pulls back. These are all just non-starters, and they know it. And the whole delegation, Lindsay, was led by a former minister of culture. So it would not appear to me that they were serious about these negotiations.
And really is curious what you think with regard to the UK announcing sanctions for Belarus for the country's role in the invasion of Ukraine. Should the United States consider the same? Absolutely.
Absolutely. President Lukashenko and Belarus more generally, they are co-defendants in this. They are co-conspirators. They are together with Putin, and the sanctions that are really hammering the Russians ought to hammer Belarus as well.
What could happen at this point that would spark any kind of de-escalation?
This is a good question, Lindsay. One thing that could happen, you've already talked about, and that is the people of Russia are not backing this fight. They're not backing this invasion. The people of Russia generally have a positive view of Ukraine, and they don't understand, they say, why their leader is sending their sons and daughters into Ukraine, a friendly neighboring country, to be killed. That is starting to show, and could well have a destabilizing effect. President Putin could be prompting a color revolution, a revolution of Russians against his own regime. That the dead soldiers coming back to be buried, together with this really bad economic price that individual Russian families are going to pay, that could have a really backlash. And that could prompt, in answer to your question, that could prompt President Putin to look for a way down.
But if we were to, ask a crystal ball question, how do you see this playing out, and what's the timeline? At what point does Vladimir Putin have to start justifying to his people why they're still at war?
Really hard to say. It's really hard to say. The Russian people are known to be patient and known to endure a lot, like Ukrainians. And so it's hard to say when this could boil over. It started. We've seen the arrests. We've seen the demonstrations around the country at some cost, at some risk to their own well-being. I mean, they can be arrested for expressing opposition to this war. So it could happen. It could happen quickly. It could happen dynamically. The one big thing about the question is, how long can the Ukrainians hold out? They have, here we are, day 6, going into day 7 of this. And as several people have said, as your show pointed out earlier, people thought that in a day or 2 the Russians would be in Kyiv. Well, they're not. So it could hang on. The Ukrainians are hanging in there.
They sure are. Okay, Ambassador Taylor, we thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.